Hey guys, it's Mishan, singer-songwriter and vocal coach, and I've been learning to sing over many years. I started off sounding like this. When a man loves a woman. And today I sound like this. And I feel something so wrong. Run, lost boy, they say to me. Now, over my 12, 13 years, 14 years, I'm not exactly sure, of learning to sing, I've learned a thing or two of what you should be focusing on and what you should not be focusing on. When you're learning to sing, you need to forget about these 5 things and start focusing on other things that are going to help you reach your goals much faster. So number 1, stop trying to sound different than the way you speak. I can't tell you how many people that I work with, and myself included, when I was first starting to learn how to sing, that we think our singing voice lies somewhere other than our voice itself. What I mean by that is a lot of singers really hate the sound of their voice. And so they'll do anything and everything to be able to try to change or adjust the way that they sound when they sing from the way that they sound while they speak. This tip alone can save you years of trying to bash your head against the wall, trying to create something that cannot be created. Your voice is your voice, and your instrument is your instrument. It can be fine-tuned, it can be improved, but it's never going to be something that it's not. I'll give you an example. It makes no sense to buy an acoustic guitar and try as hard as you can to make it sound like an electric guitar. It's just not going to work. If you're playing an acoustic guitar, play it like an acoustic guitar and don't try to shred on it like it's an electric guitar. Don't try to get the same sort of sound from acoustic as you would from an electric. You can get really good at playing an acoustic guitar, but it's always going to sound like an acoustic guitar. The same thing is true with your voice. You will always sound like you. You're going to sound like the best version of you if you try to really work on your voice, but you're never going to sound like something else. Unless you specifically try to change things and impersonate other people, but that comes with a whole host of other problems as well. If you're interested in getting a free lesson with me, please check out the link right here. So rather, what I try to teach my students is to start to embrace the sound that they already have and to accept that that is what they sound like. Once you've embraced the sound of your voice, now you're no longer trying to seek something that isn't already there. You're working with something that is already there. Your speaking voice is already right here. It's just about turning it into the best possible version it can be. So I have so many singers that they'll say, "Hey Adam, how's it going?" And then they'll go, when they go to sing. Those are two very different approaches, and not to say that you can't do that if you were singing opera or you were trying to sing some soprano part, but by and large your singing should kind of mimic the way that you're sounding while you're speaking. So just give an example of so if I had, "When your legs don't work like they used to before," I want to kind of sing that line the way that I would speak it. When your legs don't work like they used to before. When your legs don't work like they used to before. I don't want to lose that main kind of, I'll have so many people, that main sort of quality of my speaking voice. So many people, "When your legs don't work like they used to before." And they'll try to put on this type of voice that they think is, this is my singing voice and then this is my speaking voice. Stop separating the two into 2 categories and merge the 2 together. It'll do you so much good if you start to sing more like you speak. Number 2, stop listening to everyone. Random people that are calling themselves vocal coaches on YouTube don't necessarily know what they're talking about. You need to make sure that they can verify what they're saying with what they're able to do as well. Make sure that they don't only talk the talk, but they can also walk the walk. Now you can curate your own content from YouTube and try to go through all the hundreds of thousands of hours uploaded every second to YouTube. Or you can try to find specific coaches that you really feel are talking the talk and walking the walk, and really try to hone in on those sources, subscribe to them, and find out all the information you possibly can from them before you start moving on to other sources, because the amount of information on YouTube can totally paralyze us. So while having a free source like YouTube is great, it can also lead to paralysis because you're left to indecision because there's way too many options out there. Number 3 is stop telling yourself that you have to be born with it. Now, I myself have already confirmed that you don't have to be born with talent. I have my singing transformation video with 4 million views that shows that I went from very little talent to being able to sing. And now all over YouTube, there are dozens of singers and vocal coaches that are coming out with their transformation videos showing that not everybody has to be born with it to be able to sing. You can definitely learn it. It's a skill like anything else. That negative self-talk that you hear from your father or your mother or your best friend that said, oh, well, you don't have it, you can't do it. That's always going to keep you from doing what you want to do. Get rid of that negative self-talk, destroy that core belief that you have to be born with it, and start to embrace the fact that you can develop a voice that you can love. And I'm talking about you. No matter who you are, you can. Number 4 is stop comparing yourself to professional singers in the studio. I can't tell you how much time I spent trying to sound like specific artists from their studio versions when they themselves live cannot sound the same. The reason for this is when they're in the studio, they have unlimited amount of takes and they have all the studio magic of effects behind them. Do not hold yourself to the same standard because it's impossible. None of them are actually human. It's human assisted by machines. So if you're not being assisted by machines, give yourself a little more grace and watch their live performances to be able to really see what they actually sound like. The 5th and final tip I want to give you is stop trying to save money. What do I mean by that? If you're taking lessons, and I myself did this for a long time when I was learning to sing, but if you're taking lessons, stop trying to space out the lessons to be able to save money and capitalize on, what you imagine as, well, I'm getting the most bang for my buck if I space out my lessons once every 2 months. In actual fact, you're actually wasting money because you're taking lessons where you're trying to build habits, trying to build proper muscle memory, but then allowing yourself too much time in between lessons where you're actually gaining some of the bad habits back, and then you have to spend half or if not the entire lesson the next time trying to undo the same bad habits you undid in the first lesson. If you're already at the point where you're willing to spend money on your voice and improving your skill, find a coach you truly believe in and really go all in. Buy their courses, buy their lessons, and space them out on a weekly basis. If you're not ready to spend money yet, go to YouTube, right? This is the free platform. You're just gonna have to deal with a lot of misinformation out there. You can't get everything. But for those of you that are willing to spend the money, try not to focus so much on saving money, but rather getting the best return on your investment. So taking weekly lessons is going to give you a much better return on your investment than taking lessons once a month, once every 2 months. Honestly, I wish I had this advice when I was first learning how to sing because it probably would have saved me years in my singing transformation. So I hope this helps, and let me know if you disagree with anything in this list. I'd be happy to create a discussion down there and talk it out with you guys. If you like this video, please check out this one. You're gonna love it too.